So as a self-employed gardener, or any self-employed person basically, burnout and managing workload becomes a huge deal, especially when you've got a family as well. And in this video, I'm going to split it into 3 sections. So I'm going to look at kind of the admin and organisation, on the job, and then seasonal kind of ups, peaks and troughs, seasonal work. So organising your jobs is a pretty crucial part. You can do this via a diary, or there's obviously now online apps and things like that. So it depends what you want. I prefer something physical. So I always have a diary and I always plan it a few months in advance so I can track everything. Now, organising your diary and organising your jobs into areas so you're not driving here, there and everywhere is like one of the biggest things you can do. Early on and when you start, you will be driving here, there and everywhere, but maybe by year 2, you'll have a round where you can kind of, that day I'll be in that village, that day I'll be over there, and you can do it that way, because travel time can be a big one. Leaving space as well for the weather when it rains, or you might want to leave space in case jobs overrun, big one-off jobs, because they can, and it saves you maybe working weekends. You might want to keep that space for doing kind of admin things, which we can get onto in a minute, but I would personally leave at least one afternoon a week to cover kind of when it rains, and to cover the times where you just might need a bit extra time to pop back to a job to finish it, with the understanding that you've still got your weekend as a buffer as well if needs be. But hopefully, the idea is to not work weekends and to get you kind of self-rested if possible. It's not always possible. I do work weekends. Tends to be Saturday mornings when the hedge season comes in. I'll tend to do maybe a bigger hedge on a Saturday morning because I kind of quite fit it in during the week. So, we do have to do these things, but in an ideal world, if you set out to kind of do it, properly, then, you've always got that buffer if needs be. So when it comes to your diary and actually planning your round and planning kind of your week to week or fortnightly, as I like to do it, most people do your fortnightly cuts. In amongst that will be bigger jobs as well. And it depends on how you work your business. So some people do more maintenance, more kind of fortnightly work. Other people, sun's in my eyes now. Other people kind of want those big ticket jobs. And it's very important to know your own body and know how much kind of physical load your body can take. So for instance, I'll give you an example. I wouldn't put 2 huge garden tidies where you may be digging out, yesterday I was digging out ivy roots, with a big mattock thing, and I wouldn't put 2 of those jobs next to each other, because I know the next day I'll get up and I'll be absolutely stiff as a board. And when you're doing this day in, day out, you can be kind of mentally fatigued as well. I've got 2 young kids, they take up a lot of my energy, and it's not easy doing a physical job like this and having a young family. You will kind of realise pretty quickly that this job and kind of a young family, like, very much, I don't know what the right phrase is really, but it has an effect. This job has an effect on your personal life, is what I'm saying essentially. You've got to get up the next day and do it all again. So it's very important to plan your jobs along that kind of line of how physical are they. It's pretty crucial, because you will burn out. Saying yes to everyone as well. In the early days, that's fine. Saying yes to everyone will get you more customers, and that's ultimately what you want. But when you kind of get to a level where you're not far off being full, then saying yes to everyone can become a bit problematic. And knowing when to turn a job down as well is pretty crucial, and you'll learn by experience. And I've fallen foul of this a little bit in the past. You might say yes to a job knowing that you're going to be stretching yourself, and you've got to be honest with yourself and realistic. And the more you get into it, the more it goes back to knowing how much your body can take. So you've just got to appreciate that and realise that, and not say yes to everything and not do favours. There's a difference between a favour and a job. So for me, I might do a 5-10 minute favour for someone. If it kind of goes over 10 minutes, then that for me becomes another job, and I'll say to them, well, I'll have to price that on top. I'll give you a price for it. 9 times out of 10, they're happy to do that. And that is, in the early days, that's where a lot of people come unstuck, because they're super busy, they're doing all this work, and then they're doing favours for all the customers as well. You might think, oh, it's only a little bit of planting, putting some flowers in a border. That should be charged for. Because you'll burn out and you become disheartened, and you'll think, I'm doing all this work, but I haven't got the money. Where's the pay? The pay should represent the work that I'm putting in. And that's a lesson that you do hopefully learn pretty quickly. I did. Again, I did this like in the early days. I would say yes to things where I probably shouldn't have done. I did have kind of the thing in my head to probably justify it, really. But it is kind of true. Like, I didn't spend any money apart from like leaflets and business cards in the very beginning on advertising. So to me, that was, if I put a little bit of time in, that can be kind of advertising in the hope that they then say, oh, I've got a really good gardener, and just kind of spread the word a bit. So I would maybe put that time in and say, right, that's advertising time, cost, whatever you want to call it. And I'd like to think it worked. On the flip side is, people then might expect you to do loads for now. So it's a balance. It's a big balance, that one. Right, so on the job. So the first things first, you need an organised van. If you're working out of a car, it's difficult because you haven't got the space. Try and be organised. You need to store your tools in an organised fashion, hopefully. So when you're loading and unloading, kind of on a night and in the morning or whatever, it's just like efficient, because you'll soon get sick of that as well. So that is ultimately the start of it. So being organised in the back of your van. You want to have things that are easily accessible. So my design here, I've got the lawnmower on the left because that's the door that opens, that comes out on the ramp. You definitely need a ramp. I'll have a video out showing you my ramp and stuff like that. And then you want things that are relatively easy to kind of pick up. So that is crucial. One of the biggest ones, and this is a time-saving tip, obviously because the video is about managing your time. So the biggest one is, when you're doing a garden, and when you're doing like a garden that kind of has no end to it in a way, when is enough enough? When is it good enough? I'm not looking for perfection in my work, because I could do a garden, say a garden clearance or whatever. I could spend another, and I've said this to customers, I could spend another 2 hours on this and it wouldn't look much different. It might look a bit different. You might think, well, you've got to be perfect because you're charging customers. You don't. In most jobs, say I was cutting a conifer hedge or something, or like a privet. Like, I'd want it close to perfection there, but it's not that difficult to get perfection when you're doing that sort of cut, that sort of work. But it depends on the job, like you've got to leave it to a high standard, but not perfect, because trying to find that perfection is going to chuck an hour onto your job, and you're not getting paid any more for that. So this is something else you'll realise by experience as well. So having the right tools comes under this category as well. Having tools that are efficient, which will allow you to do a job quicker than if you had, useless gear. And the more efficient you can be, obviously the quicker you can get the job done for the same price. That's why I don't charge an hourly rate, because there's a whole host of reasons. You're capping your earnings, but you shouldn't be punished for doing a job quickly and efficiently, as long as it's to a good standard. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I price per job, because it's up to me then to get the job done. I can either take my time, and that doesn't impact it either. So say if I'm having an off day, I've got Crohn's disease, so sometimes I do, or if maybe I've had a wrist injury not so long ago. So if I need to take it easy that day, I won't be then accused of dragging the job out to get more money as well. So for me, it works two ways. And if you can get the best gear for the job, and you might have to start off kind of with lesser gear and then improve, and that was always my kind of what's the word, motto, if you like, mantra and motto. improve as you go, and when you can, just get better gear, because when I got my combi, that was night and day, genuinely. So seasonal time management. So when spring and summer comes, particularly, hopefully you'll be kind of inundated with work and you have to manage that. Now, I've touched upon some things kind of in this video that will help here. Not saying yes to everything is a big one. Knowing your limits is a big one. Trying not to burn out. But when it comes to seasonal work, particularly kind of late summer, that's the time where you might be wanting to kind of encourage customers to just hang on and just try and push jobs back. So it's a kind of a winter thing as well. So in late summer, autumn, if there's a job that can wait, say like a hedge trim, for example, I might say, look, do you mind if I just kind of do it in like November, December? Or if there's like a bit of a garden tidy, that you've got to talk to the customer, and you know, some people will want it done quickly, and then you have to make a decision ultimately. Some people are happy to wait, you know, and you want to have that conversation with every customer. This is particularly, well, really only on one-off jobs, so it's still maybe your regular customers, but they might want you for someone else, and you say to them, hopefully you built up a bit of a like relationship with them, and you can say, well, do you mind if I put it off a bit because I'm just chock-a-block at the moment? And 9 times out of 10 people are canny, they'll understand, and that'll help you not only spread the load out, but it will also hopefully, get a bit extra in the winter when times are genuinely hard for gardeners. So that's I'd say a good tip as well. So other things that eat into your time is waste removal. Go to the shop, the stockist, to buy new gear or streamline oil, that sort of thing. Taking your gear to somewhere to get repaired or repairing it yourself, servicing your gear. Things like your invoice, like if you have to provide invoices to, say, landlords, for example, or businesses, like your receipts, keep it on top of that. I'm not too good on doing that. I tend to kind of do it in all in one go, like add all my receipts up and stuff at the end of the year, which isn't the best. But there we are. It's better to do it monthly, so you can keep kind of a hold on what you're spending. I know, like, roughly now, it's, unless it's anything out the ordinary, I know roughly what I'm spending, so it doesn't impact me as a business. But it's to do kind of at the end of the year. These things you just have to be aware of, and just allow a bit of time and just try and be organised. Really, it can be difficult. I have other videos in a mini series, so this is number 6 or 7, I can't remember, aimed at new gardeners, people who are just starting out or who want to start out. Have a look. I've got a playlist for new starters. I also have a website where I'm offering a 1-hour video or phone call, just to pass on my information, my experience, so you can pick my brains. And the idea is to set you off on the right path, hopefully, so you can cut out those early mistakes, which we all make. But yeah, I've got a website. Check that out. It'll be in the description. Hopefully I'll see you next one. Thank you.